Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to the first proof of concept Champions Meet number 4 community data analysis, which is a project done by Ramen and the gang inside of the MooMooCows. We have Ramen, Juice, Klister, Zeus, Arisuti, Ryan 4 Numbers, Curse TG, Karhumis, and Jackenstein 20. This project started off as a little bit of a community project by Ramen, but then ended up becoming so big, so we tried to scale it up, and we are trying to get more people to help us scale it up. Alright, so ultimately, this is basically an attempt from us to try to analyze what happens in the CM meeting so you can see from the results what happens. Alright, because I think a lot of people want to know for real what happens inside of these CMs. Of course, we can't get everyone, right? A lot of casuals don't want to put their data in. People only put in the data if they win, blah blah blah. There's a lot of different biases, and remember, we're getting it from Discord also, so people who are on Discord are inherently more interested in Uma and want to basically learn more about the game, but a lot of people are definitely casual players, right? So we cannot really go and hunt down their data in particular, right? So for this one, just know that the data is kind of skewed towards the Discords, skewed towards the Reddits, skewed towards the YouTubes and Twitch, who are very into just bothered to basically input their data. Alright, for this one. So 1380 I think is not bad for the first try, right? Because this is not a very common thing. We'll try to do this every single CM if possible. Okay, so next one is going to be Virgo Cup. Virgo Cup, there will definitely be forms available for you to input your data, and then we will try to use them to visualize what we got over here. Alright. So we have the graded no limit and we have the open B and below. So the graded no limit, as you can see here, is 97.9%. A lot of you people want to go and get this one because big gems, right? If you win, you get platinum also, W. Right? How much have you spent on the game so far? We can see that most of us are F2P or low spender. 1 to 100 is about daily pack level. And then we also have some people who bought some of the packs also, and also bought the daily pack as well. Right? Then we have got the super whales, who we cannot see at all. 500 to 1000, 1000 plus, 10,000 plus, I can't see any of you. Right? You're very tiny, no number at all. Right? So that is generally how it is for every single gacha game. This is an accurate depiction of how it looks like in every single gacha game. And so now, thanks to these numbers over here, we can kind of visualize it accurately, which is basically every gacha game will have its F2Pers, its slightly more F2Pers, the F2Pers, the slightly more F2P, but still buy the daily pack, and then those people who are willing to buy big packs. Alright. So next one, we have to get some black limit break in the account and the super quick limit break in the account non-borrowed. Right, so for this one over here, we have a 47% of you owning Kita-san Black at a usable level. 3 limit break and MLB, I count them both together, so a lot of you reroll for it. That's why you have a lot more people here. And then you also have a bunch of people who did not reroll for it and just didn't care so much, so you are all over here. Right, so more people do not have Kita-san Black than those who do have Kita-san Black at a usable level. Next, we have Super Creek ownership, which is basically no one reroll for Super Creek. Alright, really no one reroll for Super Creek. If you are a whale, you probably pull all the way from MLB Super Creek because that is basically what you do. And for the rest of us, we just have 2 LB, 3 LB, 1 LB, blah 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 blah. Alright, so this is not very relevant because honestly, Super Creek is not a banner that a lot of us were able to pull because we were giga broke from Kita-san Black. So that's why it's very low. Right? This one not important because it's the same as that one, right? This one is interesting because you can just look at the colors and see for yourself that having the cards is generally just going to be better. Alright, there's a little bit of a wonky one here, which is if you have no Kita-san Black and you have 3 limit break kick, you are going to have a really bad win rate. That's not true. It's just because there's very few of you who put in the number properly. I think that's why this is supposed to be so orange. Right, so notably this one is super orange for some reason. Alright. Anyway, Kita-san Black LB and the Super Creek LB, how you read this is that the more green it is, the more you're going to be winning and the more relevant the data is. Right, as we can see here, if you don't have them, your win rate is not so good, your F2P, right? But if you get them, right, then holy shit, look at your win rate, boom and boom. Alright, you can see the different levels also. Like if you have this Kita-san Black at 2 limit break and then you have no Super Creek, you're actually going to be a little bit better, blah 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 blah. Alright, so just general, like looking only, it's just greener is better. Not so green, not so good. Alright, MLB, very good. None, not so good. So that's why we recommend to get these cards. Alright, recommended, highly recommended. So take note that there's some data anomalies. There's less responses. Some people forgot to input different days. There's going to be some different things. And remember, correlation does not necessarily equal causation. Right? These are all the disclaimers we have to put for every single data analysis. So while we do make the conclusions, there's always a little bit of background knowledge that you need to know to understand. And that's why it's not so clear cut as I see graph big number is like that. No. Right? There's some little context behind the acquiring of data. So that's a little bit of background knowledge that you must know. Right? For example, Nice Nature. Day 1, round 1, everyone spam the shit out of Nice Nature. Just spam Nice Nature. Oguri Cap, Go Ship, Esmaru. Right? What happened in day 2, however? Right? What happened in day 2 is that Nice Nature dropped significantly, right? Went from 300 to about 200 something. So people, as the game goes on, right, you get a little bit less interested in Nice Nature because you rather just put Dominator debuffers instead. So you do see Grass Wonder and Agnes Tachyon improve a little bit, right? So that's the general trend of this entire CM. Nice Nature very popular at the start to kill the noobs. After the noobs are all gone, then you start to see more Dominator debuffers in general, alright? So that's just how it is. You can see Doto was built quite a bit, My Honor Wedding was built quite a bit, Seiyun, Symboli, Agnes, Grass Wonder, Maru, Ghost Ship, and Oguri Cap. Everyone said everything, right? That's why everyone go and build all this, alright? Every single one was just shilling all of these horses over here. So that's why they're very, very popular. Notably, however, all of these horses over here are still made by the Oshi enjoyers, right? If you really, really like these horses and you can make them very good, right, your win rate is going to be better than people who blindly follow the meta. So take note of that, right? I'll show you the data relevant later, right? So over here we have about 71% win rate overall. Round 1, day 1, super easy, no problem, right? Round 1, day 2 was even better in terms of win rate because people were able to just swap out their team comps and improve their win rates in general, right? Many different factors here, maybe better matchmaking, blah blah blah, but in general the win rate definitely improved in round 1, day 2. It was easier, all right, for most of us. Okay, after that we have round 2, day 1 data. Nice Nature has now dropped below Oguri Cap. So a lot of people on day 2, they already said, okay, I want to probably swap to my Dominator debuffer. Some people still believe that Nice Nature is still going to be very, very popular. That's true. Look at Nice Nature. She's still very, very popular. But Grass Wonder also improved in popularity also. So speed debuffers were going to be a lot more common in round 2, day 2 onwards. All right, and even in finals, the speed debuffer is going to be very, very more popular than Nice Nature. Right, so yeah, everyone was still running her debuffer. A few of you were running her ace also, so some people are really, really major enjoyers of Nice Nature. You should remember that because later on we will see them again. Right, and as you can see here, round 2 is definitely much harder. Right, 50%-ish win rate. It's about 56.5% win rate. So generally, a lot of people ended up over here. Right, and 22.1% of participants had 9 or fewer wins, below a 50% win rate. So quite a lot of us were still able to get our very, very fat wins over here and still go into the finals. It's normal. CM like that. Right, round 2 is where all the actual people who know how to play the game actually appear, right? Round 2, day 2 data, we can see that Nice Nature is still one of the most popular horses here, alright? As you can tell, right, Nice Nature is just always going to be a very popular horse. Very, very popular horse. Grass Wonder, however, is catching up to Summer Maru in terms of popularity already. So this horse is definitely getting a lot more popular. But also notably, right, S Maru is also getting less popular as the game goes on. Alright? I think what happened is that people thought that their S Marus were too shit compared to some of the stronger S Marus, so they just swapped into Oguri Cap. I'll show you the numbers later, but it generally looks like that. Alright, Uma rolls here. As you can see, Esmaru was run mostly as a front, but some of you remade it. Look, Alharu Ace, right? Alharu Ghost Ship, Alharu Oguri Cap, Alharu Nice Nature, Alharu Grass Wonder, Alharu Agnes Tachyon, blah blah blah. So some people did do it, but look, you're a very small very small percentage. Right? So if you did hit an Alharu Ace, you were probably just a very unlucky person because there were very few of them comparatively to the number of Urami Aces. Alright, people are lazy at heart. Alright, they are working on the next one already, so that's why the Alharu Ace was not really built as much, but there were definitely some who bothered because they really care about that win rate. Okay, after that here, on day 2 is much better now, most likely because people swapped out their aces, most likely people adapted to the new way to try to win in this second part over here. Notably also, people did do their races earlier to avoid fighting the Alharu aces. So that might have been why. Maybe the timing is good there. Maybe the matchmaking is very, very good in the early game because a lot of people just decided to go early and just try to avoid Alharu. So you met a lot of noobs who were trying to avoid the Alharu and you beat them. So that might have been why. Alright, so there's a lot of different factors for this one. Not necessarily the day 2 is easier. More like day 2, there were some circumstances that made it a little bit easier because you were hunting down certain types of people. Alright. Round 1 and 2 comparisons. So we can see here, right? You can see Nice Nature significantly drops but picks up again in the finals. Oguri Cap, you can see significantly increases and then drops a little bit for the finals because people were swapping team comps for specifically the finals. This is normal. People swap team comps for finals all the time. Alright, this one is Esmaru. Esmaru, you can see 12.2%, then drop. Why you drop? Because people no confidence in their Esmaru anymore, so they swap to Oguri Cap. That's why Oguri Cap went up. That's why Esmaru went down. Because people wanted to swap to Oguri Cap because they felt that Esmaru was not winning a lot because the Esmaru was very, very bad compared to an enemy's Esmaru. Right? So that's what's going to happen over here in terms of trend. You also see Ghost Ship just go down, then back up, then back down, then back up again. Because people were just like, okay, now I think I need Ghost Ship because Ghost Ship is actually a pretty awesome horse. Right? So people just do that with Ghost Ship all the time. And Grass Wonder does this one where she's very, very popular, especially when we go into the finals over here. In terms of round 2, day 2, she was very, very popular also. right? So you can see right, speed debuffer generally going to be very popular when you go to the end. Stamina debuffer going to be a little bit less popular when you go to the end, because at that point the enemies are usually very tanky in terms of stamina, right? So yeah. Dominator debuffers maintain stable usage rates, while Grass Wonder usage rates in general greatly increase during the second rounds. Dominator debuffers are all about the same, really. You can use any of them and just do the same thing with them. So don't have to worry about Grass Wonder being the only one that was increasing her usage rate. It's just people have Grass Wonder and they don't really want to use Tachyon instead, right? So that's why they use Grass Wonder instead, right? So yeah, it's just a matter of taste, honestly. Grass Wonder is just the most popular horse in JP because it's one of the most easiest horses to make, essentially, for that. Notably, I think Grass Wonder has the 10% power bonus, so it's easier to get the power stat line increase for her. Yep. Alright, heat map of the overall pool win rates by number of debuffers. So over here, how to read this is that if you have one of this, you have one Dominator. If you have one of this, you have one Mystifying Murmur or Seeing Eyes horse. Right, as you can see here, right, the Dominator is generally going to be more stable than the Stamina debuffer, and that's because the Stamina debuffer only really pops off if there's a lot of them. If there is a lot of Stamina debuffer, then it's going to pop off. But if there's not a lot, then it's not going to be very good. So as you can see here, Speed debuffer was definitely the more consistent option overall. So if you want a consistent debuffer to throw into your team comp, a Speed debuffer is going to always be the best option, right? Because they are always a fixed amount of debuff. They are never a scaling amount of debuff, right? If everyone brought Nice Nature, then everyone's going to die in the lobby because everyone gets hit by Mystifying Murmur, everyone gets hit by All Seeing Eyes, right? But for the Dominator debuffer, it's like, I just shoot, bang, alright, everyone's fixed dead. Right, just a fixed amount of dead. So that's how it is for the speed debuffers. In general, we can conclude that speed debuffers is usually better than the stamina debuffer, but only by a little bit, honestly. It just depends, right? Nice Nature is very, very lazy to build also, so it's very comfortable to build that. But if you want to build a speed debuffer, no problem. You have a significantly higher win rate according to the data that we have right now. Right, round 1, day 1 is going to be F2P 0.5, F2P 0.55. And you can see here the win rate actually dropped quite a bit here from round 1 to day round 1 to round 2, right? You can see the win rate drop for everyone except the F2P for some reason, except the F2P. And I think what happened was that maybe people forgot to input their data, so the win rate generally just got tanked quite a bit. Like 0.7 to 0.5 is a little bit too harsh of a drop. And honestly, there's very few data points for this. So most likely what happened was that people forgot to put their data, or they really got some ass lobbies. And what happened here was just the win rate got absolutely tanked because of that. But yeah, this is the most major drop here, losing by 0.2 points. Everything else here dropped by an okay amount. This is all understandable because the end game is really just a matter of praying for good lobbies, and also praying for good RNG, right? Because you just need to pray you don't fight Aharus, you pray you don't fight our super whales who are able to outstat you, and pray you don't fight people that counter your team comp, right? So yeah. After that, heat map of the win rates among Kita-san Black and Super Creek LB levels. This one's not so important, honestly. In general, just know that having the 3LB, MLB is still going to be a very, very big increase to your win rates in general. The greener it is, the better, right? So everything here is still greener the better, so we just keep it like that. Don't need to explain anything else for you guys, right? Over here, we can see that the number of debuffers you bring can affect your win rate, right? Ultimately, if you bring none, right, that's the best option. Why? Because bringing triple ace is still going to improve your odds of winning because at least one of them will activate and win, right? Improves your odds significantly. Late surger debuffers just are lazy methods to have a pretty decent win rate. We can see here, right, the closest one for the early game here, one debuffer. If you use a speed debuffer, stamina debuffer, we don't really know here. But in general, you can just see you have a very solid win rate. Only in the round 2, day 2, then a lot of people brought double to try to improve their odds of winning. So you can see the win rate increase also a little bit here. In general, just running no debuffers is the best way, but no time, right? So we just use one debuffer usually. One debuffer is not going to be so significant compared to 2 debuffers over here for round 2. Alright, maybe the finals is a significant difference compared to this. Finals data here, community ultimately was a lot of first places, a lot of second places, a lot of third places. We should definitely do more charts like this because I think this is the easiest way to give you guys the results. Very good storyboarding for this kind of stuff over here, right? This is a very good chart also. This also shows you a very, very interesting amount of data, but it's also very hard for people who don't know what this is to read it, right? This dot line here is to show where the horses appear the most. Ghost Ship, S Maru, and Oguri Cap all appeared the most. Seiyun Sky fell off a little bit. She's divided by 2, so she's around here, okay? Seiyun Sky is around here. But these horses were the huge amount of the share of horses that appeared, right? They are part of the meta share. So they really were just the most common appearing horses, always able to get above 60% win rate or exactly at 60% or higher win rate. Notably, Esmaru obviously was one of the strongest horses for this CM, right? We can tell here, right? 384, 454, 346 is about the same-ish, so that means that Esmaru really is a very, very dominant horse for this CM, right? But there's also a few weird ones. Air Groove. There was 3 Air Groove players and 1 Air Groove wedding player, and they all registered as 100% win rate. And I don't know if I can believe that. But actually, this is just CM finals, so I can believe that. So congratulations on your insanely built air grooves for that one. Alright, so the air groove community, really hardcore enjoyers. Alright, they were able to make this horse absolutely dominate. So knowing how to make your horse is more important than just following the meta blindly. Vodka was also able to have a very solid amount of win rate here. Once again, very powerful horse, right? Very, very strong horse. Great stat lines, able to get very, very good skills inside of her if you have the cards. Smart Falcon, still very high. Nice nature. Ace. Ace Nice Nature. This graph does not have Debuffer or hybrids. This is Ace Nice Nature, 80% or higher win rate. So there are very, very dedicated players who are able to make their horses win more. So ultimately, Oshi Gaming is going to be better because they know what they are doing. Right? They know what they're doing, so they know how to make their ace as good as possible. This requires a lot of min-maxing. So for that, I recommend going to the Discord. Meta stuff is just for meta shooting out, right? We just shoot out meta stuff to you. Then you just follow, you can get 60% higher win rate, A finals guaranteed, right? But this one, for those really, really highly specialist players that really want to become a specialist for these horses, then they will figure out all of the different ways to make their horse win, and they will go above and beyond to make sure they win. Of course, remember the sample size is very, very small, right? Only 1, 1, 3, 3, 3, 4, blah, 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 right? So yeah, this is notable. Notably, right, the Current Chan, the only one Current Chan player did not get a win. He got a 40% win rate or higher. So this guy, yeah, unlucky. Right, so you can see, right, I want all the data. I want all of your data. I want to see all of the different types of Oshi enjoyers. I want to see, of course, the blob increase, right? The blob, the win rate, high, low, high, low, high, low. Eventually, you'll average out to something like this. And you can see Ogre Cap is still above the 60% win rate line, which is very, very good. Okay, Seiyun Sky and Esmaru are the most impactful and meta-defining aces this CM, that's for sure, right? We all knew frontrunners were going to be very dominant in this CM for sure. Right, top 15 horses you can go and see in this chart over here. Yes, look at this. Fuji Kiseki is here, Maru is here, Brian is here, Seiyun Sky is here. It matters how you build the horse, right? And also a little bit of luck, depending on your matchmaking, right? But it really does matter how you build your horse. Seiyun Sky is the most impactful one, 150 races, 74% chance. Right, so this is the one that is very, very significant. 384 from Esmaru. Some of you built her very bad, or some of you built her very, very good, or some of you built her very, very average. So the huge amount of you in here helped to average out that win rate to 60%. Right, Seiyun Sky is 150, so it's still double the amount of Seiyun Sky. So the win rate here is a little bit more accurately reflected than Seiyun, but really, I need more data to really see the numbers for real. Alright, yeah. Okay, there are 3 air groove players plus 1 air groove wedding player solo carrying the win rate, exactly, right? As long as you know what you're doing, you can make any horse win. As long as you pump her full of all of the good skills, you can make them win. Alright, just take note of that. Oshi Gaming is a very, very viable way to play this game as long as you know what you are doing. That's the most important part. Learn how to play the game. Alright, next one is top role archetypes. This one, honestly, not really too important for you to see because we've already covered all this information before. This one is useful because this one shows you that our Haru mid aces win more than regular mid aces. I know the number is significantly different, right? It's like 3 times less than this one, but still, our Haru, you can see a major increase in the win rate because it's just the better scenario. So please conclude that the Haru is a better scenario. I know it looks a little bit sus because of the 3 times less, but it's also a 20%-ish win rate increase, which is very, very insane. If this was like 28 entries, then I would say, okay, that's crazy, right? Look at the sacrifice. The sacrifice is used by people who know what they're doing also. So that's why the win rate is so high. So knowing what you're doing and also making it in a Haru is generally the play, all right? It's generally the play. And also for your debuffers, because they were used in every single team comp, it's very hard to see what the actual contribution to win rate is going to be. But we know for a fact that speed debuffers are a little bit better than the stamina debuffers because they're very fixed. And then we also know that the debuffers in general are not going to win as much as triple ace, but 1 or 2 of them will still improve your win rates to an acceptable level for most people. Alright. So this one also don't need to see. This one don't need to see. This one we can see lobby distribution in the finals. We can see a lot of late surgers, a lot of pace chasers, a lot of front runners, a lot of enclosers. Enclosers was the least popular one. This was mostly going to be gold ship, but there were a few spare swimsuits, and spare swimsuits were able to get about a 50%-ish plus win rate. So I think that was pretty solid. Right, this one don't need to see also. There's some outlier ones that I'm going to skip through because they're not super important. And we can see here, average win rate versus total debuffers on the team. If you had 0, you had the highest. If you had 2, you had a pretty much higher one compared to the 1. And then if you had 3, you will have a lower win win rate, but still above 50%. So I think that is very, very solid already. And then over here, we have the win rate by debuffer pattern. No need to see, honestly. You can just skip this one, no problem. And this one is also no need to see, skip this one. Right, this one also no need to see, skip this one. Okay, as you can see, right, Zeus did a lot of very interesting ones for those who care about it, but for a lot of us, we don't need to care about it. Right, for this one, top 10 Alharu made Ace Performers Finals. Now, this is interesting. Look, Narita, Brian, and Nice Nature. That's right. You remember just now I said the Nice Nature Aces? Yep. Those 4 Nice Natures were hard carrying this Nice Nature Ace win rate. So even the Bronze Collector can win if you know what the hell you're doing. Alright, the Brian also very, very high win rate, but these are Alharu made aces also. So they did do a little bit of stat diffing in terms of fighting their lobby, and they prayed for good RNG also. Suzuka Means were able to win also in Alharu made aces. Seiyun Skies were able to win very well. Look at that win rate for the Alharu made. Very, very good one. For the recycle, we can see here also like Vodka, Wedding, Nice Nature, Fuji. It's going to be a lot of horses that are just Oshi made, right? Not even made in Alharu, by the way. They did not go to make them in Alharu. They just made them here. So this Vodka, still very, very good performer because they were able to make her gamble very, very well, alright? After that, top 10 debuffer performers. In Symbolic Rudolph, she's going to be the best one. Grass Wonder is going to be the second best one. Agnes Tachyon, the third best one. And Nice Nature, the last one. But take note that Nice Nature is 470 inputs, alright, compared to this one. So it's not going to be a very fair comparison. But in general, I would say that this is okay enough to prove that speed debuffers are going to be a lot better in the finals for now, alright? After that, 10 sacrifice performers. Mayana Top Gun was very popular, but it's only 3 runs. Seiyun Sky is 14 runs, still pretty good. Mihono Bourbon, much less, but not so good. Right, not so good. So yeah, these 2 are going to be the best ones for the sacrificial runners. And hybrid performers, Nice Nature Hybrid was pretty good. Agnes Hybrid, pretty good. Grass Wonder Hybrid, pretty good. Mayano Top Gun Wedding, pretty good. And Symbolic Rudolph was probably the worst one out of them. Alright. Uma awardees. Nice Nature, Oguri Cap, Asmaru Ghost Ship tied for 3rd place, Grass Wonder in 4th, Agnes Tachyon in 5th. Honestly, we should probably be using these podiums a lot more so that it's easier to kind of tell you the information. This one is basically the highest Uma usage rates across CM4. Great job by Klister and Ramen. Definitely should be doing more of these graphs over here because these are the ones that people care about the most, in my opinion. Right? People like pictures more than they like looking at graphs. Okay, Nice Nature most popular, Oguri Cap second popular, Asmaru Ghost Ship. Everything was as expected, honestly. Right, as expected. Okay, Nice Nature, Oguri, Ghost Ship, Asmaru, Grass Wonder, blah 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 blah. Very good graph. And then over here we have the awards, which I think are very fun. But Nice Nature wins a lot of awards because she kind of overlaps some of the awards. So most popular late surger, yeah, because she's the most popular debuffer. So these 2 kind of paired together. And also the best performing hybrid because those 4 Nice Natures hard carried the win rate. So that's why she's the most popular. Then she tied with Narita Brian for best performing and in the Alharu made ace, which I think is a very relevant one for this CM in particular. Right? After that, we have the best performing debuffer in the finals and best debuffer in the finals. But if you think about it, she's literally the exact same as a Grass Wonder and the exact same as an Agnes Tachyon. They literally all have dominated debuff and that's all they do. So they are roughly the same. She wouldn't really care about being the best performing debuffer, but I think it's appropriate that the Emperor is the best debuffer in the finals at least. Right? Best debuffer in the finals. And Brian was the tied with Nice Nature for best performing Alharu made ace in the finals. And then Vodka was the best performing ace in the finals because the 8 of you hard carried the win rate. So I think that these awards are good because it encourages the Oshi gamers to come in and show off, right, their power, so that I'm able to actually see which Oshi gamer is probably the strongest Oshi gamer, right? Finally, we have Oshi Gaming PvP. Which Oshi gamer is the strongest over here? Of course, if there's a lot of weak Oshi gamers, then you can pull down the win rate, but if there's only a few of you and you're all very strong, you can boost the win rate like this. So the Vodka can be very, very good. This is like the game awards, honestly. They're not super important, but they are, they're not super relevant and not super accurate, but they are basically like a popularity contest and agenda posting kind of, right? For this one, we have Mayano Top Gun, which is best performing sacrificial front. Like I said, there's only 3. There's only 3 Mayanos. This is not relevant at all, but we still give her the award because technically it's correct. Technically it's correct. So technically true, Mayano, congratulations on your award. Right, and so that's all. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for all the support and all of your data. I hope that next time we can get more so we can visualize better how people are winning their CMs and whatnot. 1000 is really just a microcosm of the entire global community. So I want to get more of these forms filled in as possible so we can see more of the different data for the different CMs. Virgo Cup, we do have charts already available. So hopefully we will be able to put up the link for you guys to input your Virgo Cup and we can visualize for ourselves what's happening during these CMs. Right? Even if it's only like a microcosm, I hope it becomes a little bit bigger, maybe we become like an ant, right? From a micro to an ant. So maybe something like that, that would be a little bit more accurate than what we got right now. Alright, so yep, that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks for all the support so far. If you have any other questions for this one, feel free to join the Discord and talk to Ramen, or just access these Canva sheets. I believe they are public access, so anyone can go and view them. Alright, so thank you for this, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the Virgo Cup and inputting your own data as well. Alright, thank you everyone, bye bye.